Here's why I think every police officer should learn judo. All right, first, when we're talking about this kind of a thing, there's the philosophical aspect of judo that is very beneficial, that has sort of an indirect effect on the interactions. And then there's also the technical side of judo that can help, especially with the new guidelines of taking someone down properly and not putting pressure on their diaphragm, which I think is a little bit nuts. I think it's very difficult to control somebody if you don't put pressure on their diaphragm, right? Because this is sort of the zone of control, right? You have to control here. Anyway, first and foremost, let's talk about the technical side of judo, right? If two people are standing upright, the ability for me, if I was a police officer, to take someone down, right, is to be able to close that distance and control the opponent. And the more control I have of the person, the more likelihood that I can take them down safely. If I grab them, right, and if I could control their head and control their arm, they're not going to be able to strike me. If I could throw them Osotogari, and if I could control their head on the way down in a way that their legs hit the ground first, right, that's a huge advantage for me. If I swing and slam them head first into the ground with no control, that person's going to be dead, right? So I definitely don't want that. If I could throw them leg first into the ground where their legs hit the floor, BAM! They're not going to be able to get up and run away, right? And in that situation, I'm not going to need to squeeze into their diaphragm or put my arms around their neck in order to physically control them because their legs are messed up, right? So that's the technical side of stuff. If I can get close enough without getting struck, and a lot of times people aren't just fighting back and punching police officers, so closing the distance should be easier than against someone that has their hands up and trying to face off of the fight, right? Because there's all these other protocols in place. Hey, put your hands up, blah, 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 right? Closing the distance is a little bit easier. And once you're in that range, you can put your hands on and you can take them down safely. That is huge. Now, I hear the argument all the time, why not BJJ? BJJ is good too. But if you have a knee on belly position or if you're pinning the person down physically, now with the new guidelines, you're no longer capable of putting pressure on their diaphragm, right? So you're going to get in trouble as a police officer. Also, if there's more than one person and you're grappling and you have your hooks into the person, controlling with a seatbelt grip, that other friend of yours or the person that's being taken down, they're going to come in and punch you in the side of the head while you're grappling on the ground, right? So I don't suggest that very much. So the technical side of things, along with the new guidelines, throwing them in a controlled fashion, closing the distance, and then throwing them leg first, where their feet hit the ground first, I think that's one of the best things police officers can learn in order to take someone down effectively. And the learning curve too, it's not too long to where you can throw someone who's completely unskilled, never done judo before, right? You could do so in a relatively short amount of time. So that is why I would definitely suggest judo. And there is newaza in judo too, right? I know it's not the leading form of newaza grappling, but there is newaza, and BJJ comes from judo too, right? So there's a lot of similarities there. Also, what gets sort of overseen a lot of the times when we're talking about judo for police officers is the philosophical side. Judo, one of the main facets of judo is mutual welfare, benefit, and respect, right? If there's always a win-win, if there's always a way where we could both gain from the interaction, right? That is the goal of judo. Whenever we bow, it's symbolic of that. Hey, bow, let's make each other better. Hey, let's find a way where we could elevate each other to another level in the most respectful manner, right? I respect you, you respect me. It's an agreement. And when you're coming into the dojo day in and day out, this is the sort of thing that you're training. And the person who founded judo wanted to embed these philosophies in order to make people better civilians in the world that we live in, right? So the philosophy behind judo, if taught properly, really is an academic system to make better human beings, make better people, compassionate, kind, respectful people. And I think that, along with the technical side of judo, makes for a perfect martial art to teach police officers, right? Hey, I respect you, respect me. Let's make sure no one gets hurt. Let's make sure we resolve this. And that really is what judo is about. So there you go, de Blasio and Cuomo. Don't want to get too political here, but I think judo is one of the best martial arts police officers should learn. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, please put them in the thing downstairs, and then we'll have a discussion, right? I think this is very important, whether you're right or left. I think judo is a great martial art. We should all learn it. Whether you like Trump or not like Trump, I don't really care. But we should definitely teach police officers judo. Nothing else. Actually, I think Greco-Roman wrestling might even be better, right? Because it's no gi, and then you go right to the heart of it, right? Body, boom, up, leg first, boom. Greco probably is the most underrated martial art or grappling art for self-defense, not self-defense, for police officers, I think. Greco is amazing. Judo's great too. Sambo's good too, you know, he's got a striking side. BJJ has great Nawaza, you know, one-to-one situation. Very good, right? Grappling is always better, right? Let's talk a little bit about grappling versus striking. If you punch someone as a police officer and it's on camera, it's over for you. I'm telling you, it's over, right? You've seen those videos when the police officer's on top of someone just pounding somebody. Boom, boom, boom. Your career's done, right? You're a criminal. It just looks terrible on camera too. Grappling's a little bit different. People don't see what's going on, right? The squeeze, the torque. When you put your hands on someone and you are a skilled grappler, people feel it, right? When they feel it, they're like, oh shoot, right? And so that definitely can act to decelerate, or, right? Not to escalate, de-escalate, not decelerate, de-escalate the scenario, right? So yeah, grappling over striking. I do believe that having some sort of defensive boxing skill is very important in order to not get punched, because some people are athletic. They throw a hard punch, they do a huge looping swing, and some people are very coordinated, right? If you have good hand-eye coordination, good athletics, and you could put a lot of power behind that punch, if it connects, it's gonna do some damage, right? And you could get lucky enough, or if your attention's somewhere else, you know, hey, Shintaro, what's going on? Hey, what's going on? And take a nice punch from this side of my body is in a blind spot, that could potentially knock me out, right? So attention is very important, but having some defensive skill in the striking area is very nice, right? So, and you can teach that right off the bat, you know, relatively quickly, right? In order to do punching, offense, defense, and being in the ring, being ring ready is a completely different situation than learning basic defensive boxing, right? So that's, I think, the training protocol should be. Basic defensive boxing, basic judo, right? Not offensive boxing. And judo, right? Not BJJ, not wrestling, not sambo, maybe Greco, defensive boxing, and judo.
Are you all done?
Cut!